Hello out there. It's David Duford here at davidduford.com, where I recruit and train insurance agents to become top producers. And on the phone today, where are we? Back in the 2000s on Zoom. That's 2020. That's how we do everything these days. I've got Andrew Pryor of GameTimeLeads.com. Say hello today, Andrew.
Hey guys, hope you're having a great day.
So Andrew is on the line to tell us a little bit more about his company and what he does. I've been a longtime fan of Andrew's lead program and what he has to offer, and I'm excited to have him on and explain it to us. So Andrew, why don't you kind of introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me and inviting me. I do appreciate it. Just a little background for me. I've been in final expense or around final expense for about 11 years now, and I cut my teeth writing business, and one of the things I kind of became obsessed with in the process was, could I do my own leads, right? I thought I had in my mind that, okay, if I could do my own leads, I'm untouchable, I have full control, my cost has gone down, therefore my profit's going up. I mean, and it's funny, I laugh. I don't know if anybody ever feels this way, but like, you ever look back at your old self of the things you used to think, and you're like, wow, I had no clue. And so as I got into that journey of marketing for myself, I started getting leads, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. I live in North Carolina, by the way. So I was running 4 hours to appointments and stuff because, hey, they were cool. It was kind of cool. You're working your own lead, right? So then I figured out kind of how to get local leads. And, then I sent leads to a buddy in South Carolina. I was like, hey, man, I might be able to get leads for you. I just want to see, and I did. And so it kind of evolved. But what's funny is, I had it in my mind that I'm going to be this top producer, but I'm also going to handle my own marketing. And at the end of the day, all I can do is laugh, because marketing is nothing but a full-time job, because it's not a set it and forget it business. You have to manage it literally hourly. And I would get into the car and we would spend too much money on Facebook, and I would like, wait a second, I'm losing money because I can't manage what I'm doing over here on Facebook while I'm talking to Marie, in the house. And so, but anyways, long story short, the lead kind of became bigger than me. I started kind of talking to some people I knew in the business, some agencies, some IMOs, and it kind of evolved into what it is today. Now we do several hundred orders a week. So yeah, that's our short version, but that's how we're here.
Well, I'll add in here, one of the things I've learned, I totally agree with you. There is value in owning the lead generation process and wholesaling it. But what most people don't understand is the amount of knowledge it takes, and then also the time it takes to tweak these things. It is not set it and forget it. You are completely you're completely in control, but you also are going to have a lot of time sucked away to go manage that stuff. Right. Which is why I always recommend, and I had a conversation with a couple of guys yesterday, new agents come on board, and I said, hey, look, man, as an agent, your primary directive is to sell insurance face-to-face or over the phone. You need to focus on getting good at selling insurance, because that's your job, your insurance agent. And then if you can, where you can, outsource the rest. And lead generation is one of those things that, sure, it does sound good to do it yourself, but there's so much more to the story. And if you don't know what you're doing, it can be extremely expensive and very cost prohibitive. So yeah, tell us about yourself and how Game Time Leads works.
Yeah, so basically, so how we have it set up, I run the company. The fire, so to speak, is, hey, where's my leads? Or, hey, I'm getting leads in the wrong area. That happens sometimes. And so we'll fix those. I kind of put out the fires now, but we've hired a staff. We've got a very small staff, and I'm very strategic about that. And so, David, I want you to, I guess I'm going to make sure I say this eloquently, I guess, as I can. But when you look at your lead vendors, pay attention to what they are doing in their business. Like, for example, I have a small, and I mean a small, cubbyhole little office, because I don't need a big fancy office. Because if I have a big fancy office, guess where that cost comes from? It's going to come back into the lead cost, right? I've hired a small staff overseas, very good people. They work 7 days a week for me. We have a very great process in place so that when someone orders, if you order typically before 1 p.m. Eastern, we'll get into that. your order should start that day. If not, it will start the following morning, and so we did that. We do all that. We keep our costs down as much as possible because right now, Mark Zuckerberg is taking most of it. so,
yes, he is.
Yeah, but we're we want to stay small as we can because it just, I guess some guys like fancy offices. I don't really care. I need something that works and I need a good internet connection. That's where we're at, so we can run the company efficiently and, do it that way. So I hope that kind of sheds light into how we set our company up.
So Andrew, kind of tell us again, a picture of somebody who's brand new to selling final expense and how the different lead systems work. Just kind of give us a 30,000 foot overview of how your leads work. And then if you can kind of expand on that, what makes them different? Because I definitely think in a positive way, they're very good and very different from the competition.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So one of the good things about, and this has always been my, everybody, you've all heard the statement, time is money, right? And so that's why generating your own lead is cool and all, but it takes a lot of time away from it. And if you're not good at it, you only get 2 leads that day. It doesn't really help your appointment ratio for the next day, right? So if you're in a good area, because we do have problem areas in the country, we've got a few states, we've got a few towns or cities that are like, very competitive and very, a little bit slower lead flow. But the majority, I would say 80% of our orders, we fulfill them in about 2 days, sometimes 3, sometimes, but probably 2 days or less. And so if you're in a good area, that's a good thing. Here's why. The speed of the lead is important. You can order on Sunday night, leads come in Monday. You work those leads hard Monday, Tuesday, whatever. Let's say you have a bad week or it's not doing so hot, right? Because that happens. That's final expense, right? You can order leads Tuesday night, coming in on Wednesday, and you can turn a bad week into a good week. And sorry, I'm actually meant to mention I have a 2-year-old, and he likes tractors, so we draw tractors a lot around here. So, yeah, so you can take a bad week and turn it around into a good week. I think that's very important. Okay. Also, let's say you're having a good week. You're like, okay, I just wrote $5,000. It's Tuesday night. I literally just wrote $5,000 in 2 days. Order leads again. Turn it into a $10,000 week. So you can turn a good week into a great week. You can also turn a bad week into a good week. Does that make sense? And so I think the speed of lead is very, very important. That's why. And another thing too, when you're starting a new agent, you recruit a new agent, you get them trained, you send them through some videos. They're fired up. They're excited. And then with direct mail, they're waiting 3 weeks for leads, right? And so with Facebook, we can get them in the field quickly, and they can be theoretically, depending on how the commission structure, they should be making money that week, right? Should have commission deposits that week. So that's very, very important. As far as the competition is concerned, there is obviously a lot of competition. One of the things we did is two main things we did that we tried to, and it's honestly, and I'll be 100% honest with you, it's made us make a lot less money. Is because we put the word insurance in our ad copy multiple times. Matter of fact, we just actually increased the number of times that it's in that copy. It's the first time we've changed our ad copy since our company started. And the reason we did it that way is because we want to try to have customers that are not confused. But I tell every final expense customer or agent that I talk to, we have to remember one thing. And Dave, I think you're well on board with this. At the end of the day, on the other end of the line, the person filling out that form is still a final expense prospect. There's going to be some that they gets free because guess what? Everything. I'm not being derogatory in any manner, but everything else in their life is free, right? And so I have an agent. We do several hundred orders a week, but I have 1 or 2 agents a week that'll say, "Hey, so and so thought this was free," and I would say, "Listen, man," and I want people to understand this. If I put the words "free insurance" in an ad copy, number one, Facebook probably would not like that. Okay, for sure.
That's true.
So basically, Facebook, if you want to maintain a good relationship with Facebook as an advertiser, we want to make sure you're on the up and up. I have tons of agents that buy from me and say, "Hey, man, I used to do this, tried this, my account got banned. I'm really glad I found you," that type of thing. That has definitely been a journey to maintain relationships. But the thing about it is if you put free life insurance or free anything, I think a lot of vendors are using what they call tax-free tax-free benefits, and they're referring to the death benefit. And as life insurance agents, we all know that, yeah, okay, you're talking about the death benefit, but the consumer thinks you're talking about a tax-free cash benefit that you're giving the prospect to pay for the insurance. And so I try to tell people, say, listen, man, if you did that and you got approved and you got those ads for running on a large scale, we would have 50-cent leads and you would get 100 a day, right? Because people would be lining up to get them. So, I think with the lead flow that we have, you can understand that it is a legitimate marketing process. It is legitimate marketing, but I say all that disclaimer, you're going to have people on the other end of the line is still a final expense prospect. And so, but what sets us apart, I think, is our process. We try to use legitimate advertising, then we take them off of Facebook. We make them fill out blank forms. So in other words, and I try to tell people this, they'll say, hey, you sent me this lead. I'm like, well, first of all, I don't send any agent a lead. Okay. We set up a website for that agent. We run traffic to that website, and whoever fills that form out on the site and hits submit at the end automatically gets sent to the agent. So basically it's a funnel, right? I'm just funneling the leads to the agent. I personally don't send a lead out, so I try to let them know that. And so you're going to get leads out of state, right? It's going to happen. People share the ads, and their cousin that lives out of state fills it out, whatever.
Right.
But it's the process. That's what I try to tell people. The more hoops I can make a prospect jump through, theoretically, the higher the intent. Not always the higher quality prospect, because we don't know the quality of prospect, right? Because it's FE, community, right? But the quality of the intent is where we're trying to accomplish.
To me, that's a big thing. I'll preach on that for a second. So one of the things that always bugged me about Facebook vendors is that Facebook makes it too easy to request information for leads. So if you guys are unaware, for those of you who are uninitiated, there are an in Facebook lead form option that a lot of vendors will use. And it makes the lead generation process great because the person doesn't have to navigate off of Facebook. They can stay within the app. It's all right there. It's very simple. Better yet, they argue, and I'll say why it's not. It's already pre-filled out with the client's information, so that you don't have to have your client thumb through and fill out everything manually. So they just see their stuff show up and then click submit. And that's how you get a cheap lead. But that's also how you get a cheap lead. Now, why is that cheap? Because it was so easy to fill out. The client didn't have to sit down and think about this stuff and fill it out. That was a faster than normal process, which means easy come, easy go is really what the word of the game is there. And I think what you have happen there, in combination with this kind of weasel word usage, which tax-free benefit, we all know what that is. And there's a line that you do have to walk, which is you got to inspire people to take action and request information. You can't just put out an ad that says buy life insurance now and expect
Right.
price, right? So there's always going to be this middle ground. And this is what I always liked about Andy's leads is you're going to get that stuff. We all are going to get that stuff because of the demographic we're in. Uncle Sam cuts a check for them. They cut other checks for benefits, and it's a normal part of being a senior is where is my free benefits? It's just part of the mentality they have.
Right.
And they presume and read into the copy in a specific way to bias towards that. The question is, to what extent are you playing into that versus not? And there's a balance. And I think what's great about Andy's leads is they balance it out. You're going to get people who say it's free. It happens with everybody. It happens with direct mail. It happens with every single Facebook or any lead on the face of the planet. The question is to what percentage, and what percentage are very good quality. And again, I'll personally attest, Andy's leads, some of the best I've ever worked, and always come recommended to my agents at least.
I appreciate that.
So tell my audience more, Andy, for those who are interested in trying you out, they like what you have to say. Again, highly recommended to do so. Where can they go to learn more about you?
Yeah, for sure. You just hit to basically go to www.gametimeleads.com. And on that site, you're going to see a link at the top that says high intent leads. Click on that link. It'll take you to the right section. And we have two forms. There's one for 42 states, and we have one for 8 states. So we have there's a certain section of states that our cost is just way higher. And if you're in those states and you've been in final expense for any length of time, you already know that. So this is not nothing new to you, but yeah. So sometimes I feel like we pick on those states a little bit, but yeah, it's very simple. Everything's done online. I don't have access to card information or banking information. Literally, our forms handle it all. I don't see any personal data. Basically, you go on the form, fill it out, and then it goes. The reason we use PayPal is because you can load. It's a free account, and you can load any card you want. You can load a bank account. You can load a debit card, credit card, whatever. However, I will warn you. We have had some agents do the bank account, and what it does is it does an e-check, and an e-check is an electronic check that they send PayPal. So it takes 3 to 5, and it ain't 3. They say 3 to 5. It takes at least 5 days for that to clear. And then once those funds clear, JotForm, which is our handles those merchant fees or merchant transactions, JotForm will then they don't send us the order until we get money, right? And so I would recommend using a debit or a credit card, but that's why we use PayPal. So you can. Some people are like, I don't have PayPal. I'm like, it's okay. It'll work.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, just for the record, for everybody's sake, and this is just me trying to be as transparent as possible, Andy is a paid sponsor for this upcoming final expense workshop that I'm having on September 4th, 2020. But even if he wasn't, I would say all the same things. As all of my agents can attest to, Andy does a fantastic job. He's great at what he does. And if you are wanting to try a new lead vendor out and you're wondering who does a great job, again, I highly recommend what GameTimeLeads.com does. It just do a wonderful job, bar none. Have agents doing very, very, very well with his leads. All right. Well, Andy, thank you for your time today, and have a good one.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. You have a good one.